Ah, yes, good. Now, beneath his equatorial bulge, a pair of spindly, brittle legs, two pale, willowy arms, the head of a stunned mullet, and atop his muddled dome, a dunce's hat. Why, you're definitely getting better at this.
Well, gee, thanks, Darren.
We'll have to make that Barjo's profile picture on the website.
Darren and I have just been having a go at uDraw, and as far as Wii games go, it's pretty unique because it comes with its own fully functional graphics tablet. Now, graphics tablets that professional artists use can cost thousands of dollars, but this one really only costs you a little bit more than a top AAA game.
Granted, this unit is an entry-level model, but the basic principle is the same. The uDraw tablet consists of a drawing surface connected to a stylus, with a socket for you to plug the Wii remote into. Once you've got the uDraw Studio program up and running, you draw with the stylus, and the buttons on the Wii remote serve as hotkeys for the most common commands.
The built-in tutorials will take you through the basics of drawing and painting, but ultimately they're no substitute for experience. And the better your drawing skills get, the more you'll find yourself banging your head against a low ceiling called imprecision.
Affirmative. The resolution of the pictures you can draw is fairly low, and even if the cursor on screen shows where you're pointing, it just doesn't feel precise, like you're forever adrift in an ocean of gelatin.
The benefits you get from uDraw are the convenience of drawing on your telly and the opportunity to play other games that need the uDraw add-on.
Well, if we are to properly assess the value of the uDraw tablet, we should assess the merits of these games as well. Let's start with, Pictionary. You can choose from a handful of brush and pen types, you can make simple lines and geometric shapes, and you can change your line thickness and colour.
Each time you move around the game board, one member of your team will randomly have to draw the name of some sort of thing. The other guys on your team aren't allowed to see. The person who did see it then has just 90 seconds to draw a clue to enlighten the rest of his teammates. If they can guess what it is based on his crazy scribbles, then your team wins that point, and you can keep going.
That's the way it's done, yellow team.
Now, on the one hand, this is the perfect board game for adapting into a uDraw application. The problem is that the lagginess built into the system, while tolerable in free draw mode, suddenly becomes a crippling handicap when you're racing against the clock. I also found the controls to be quite sluggish and prone to weird distortions. The rubber was close to useless for erasing mistakes, and the precision was so airy and loose, I feared that the on-screen pointer was off with the fairies.
Nice work, Da Vinci.
I hate to say it, Darren, but I think Pictionary actually works better as a board game. Dude's Big Adventure, on the other hand, does a better job of working the uDraw tablet into a proper game.
The game includes 4 very simple yet very frustrating types of platform challenges. You move the dude by tilting the pad and drawing on its surface, all the while collecting coins to top up your ever-shrinking bonus score. Again, the controller lag is an issue here, an effect that is compounded by the clunkiness of the stylus nib and shaft buttons. There is a gimmick to it all, however. You can customise many of the in-game objects, including the dude himself. I modified this one to look like Barjo.
I don't really see the resemblance.
Affirmative. The virtual butcher's paper that wraps these objects is a poor substitute for a real canvas. It's impossible to get anything looking just the way you'd like it to.
You know, Darren, I might not be the greatest artist, but this uDraw tablet just felt a bit wrong in my hands. I understand they wanted to make the Wiimote plug into it to keep the cost down, but the trade-off is lag, and that's just so frustrating. If it ran off USB, things might have been a little bit different. The bundled uDraw Studio that came with the tablet, I'd say the software is passable, so I'm going to give it 6 out of 10 rubber chickens.
And the add-on games?
Well, Pictionary works, I suppose, but it's not much better, so I'm going to give that one 5.5. And Dude's Big Adventure, that was just frustrating, so I'm going to give that 4.
I'm inclined to agree, Hex. It takes years of practice for humans to get good at drawing or anything else, and while uDraw may be a novel place for an artist to start his journey of discovery, it is a tool that any budding Michelangelo will soon outgrow.